Welcome to ABG, Asian Boss Girl, a podcast for the modern-day Asian American woman. My name is Helen.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Mel. All right, everyone. Welcome back to ABG. We're officially at season 5.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You can count that on one hand. That's a whole hand.
Yes.
High five.
High five. Yes.
Air high five.
You're sitting far
through
away from
the
me.
microphone.
Yep.
I
So that's
high-fived myself.
5 seasons, 47 episodes.
Yes.
47. Mel said this makes us almost a senior citizen.
Yep. In the episode category.
But a lot has happened since we've been out, I guess. Ladies, let's give a little update to our listeners.
Yeah, it's been 3 months. I think it's been because the last episode was back in August.
Oh, wow.
Right? So now it's November. Yeah, it's been quite a while.
So we're at retreat right now, you guys. And we're holed up in a hotel recording for the next season. But yeah, a lot of updates in terms of ABG. We were actually in the Bay Area, I think, was it a few weeks ago or a month ago?
For a very special event where Miss Helen, what was she doing? You want to let us know?
I was being a baller.
She was balling it up for the ISA charity basketball game up in, what was the university? Or not university,
It was
high school.
Adrian Wilcox High School.
Yes.
The energy in that room was crazy, though. Like,
Yeah.
I think for me, just even like being a cheerleader for Helen, like me and Jenna were like, "Whoa, Helen!" When they announced Helen, I was like, "Hype woman!" The stadium was loud. Like they knew
it was
we
packed.
were.
It was sold out. I think there were some people that couldn't get in.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of crazy because I think back to like the reason why I think I'm able to play is just because of JV basketball. So the fact that I played JV for 2 years has given me the credibility to get flown out to another city to play basketball in front of like hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild.
No, you did really well because my
Yes,
little
you
brother
did.
was like, "Dude, Helen's hella good on the court. Like I would lose to her because my brother plays ball too. So she dominated on the court, you guys. She did us proud.
And it was an intense game as
Dude.
well. So we were very proud.
I don't watch basketball, but I think it's one of the most exciting games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It went to double overtime. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
And while we were up there, we also did a little stop at Facebook. Our friend Matt Ogawa brought us out for a Friday afternoon meetup. So thank you so much for all of you that came out. We had an awesome time getting to meet everyone.
Matt Ogawa also planned the ISA basketball game.
Yes.
So he did both things, helped us with the Facebook thing and also the ISA charity basketball game. And ISA was also with Dan Matthews, our friend, and a big supporter of the community, both of them. So thanks, guys, for being there for us and providing us with a very fun weekend, memorable weekend.
Facebook was amazing. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but it was a company that my mom always wanted me to work at, and I never got hired. So just being there for a different reason was really incredible. The campus is crazy.
Insane.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Another big thing that happened to us recently, we actually teamed up with 2 other podcasters. First of all, with Minji and Perfectly Imperfect with Christine and Regina. We had through this joint event called Off the Mic. And it was really incredible because I feel like we brought the community together in ways that we never thought could be possible, you know? It was an incredible event. We had it at Ethos Society, and we had 2 panels talking about, you know, being lost in transition, and another one about creating and innovating. How can you find your passion and like really take action with it? And we had breakout groups. It was incredible to see everyone come out and to really celebrate this event.
Yeah, and I think for me, like one of the best parts of even doing this podcast, Asian Boss Girl, is when we are able to go to a bunch of different places like colleges, universities, like campuses, corporations, whatever, and being able to speak to people. Because so right now we're sitting in a hotel room and, you know, we're in our PJs, super comfortable. Mel's sitting on the ground. Jen and I are like each on a bed. We're just talking to each other, and when we're able to just interact with people, that's like the best part of it. So Off the Mic was the first time we actually organized and planned and sold tickets for an event, and it turned out really, really, really good. And it was so rewarding just being able to interact with people and also hearing your stories in real time.
Yeah, we've done meetups before, but this was our first kind of like longer format in-person event. So we're excited in the coming months and years or so to do more events like this and experiment.
Yeah, and speaking of experimentation, I think, I don't know if you guys saw on our Instagram, but we were also on Wong Fu's lunch break.
Yeah.
Which is our first foray into video. And
Foray.
Whatever. But it was our first step into video, and I think that's something, honestly, video is something we've kind of been getting requests to do, and that is something we might step into. So being on Wong Fu's lunch break was just a really incredible experience for us. Wong Fu Productions has been such a leader in this space and just really dear friends of ours. So thank you so much for having us on lunch break. You could catch us on their YouTube channel, our Wong Fu, with our episode.
It's called Are You an ABG?
But yeah, besides that, the last thing I guess on our update list is that we actually released a new shirt.
Yes, the second item in our merch line that is going to expand and also this coming season. And this is a kind of a flip. So our first t-shirt was a white t-shirt with black text, and now we've done the black t-shirt with the white text.
Very creative.
You're so creative.
But yeah, one shirt a year, guys. That's what we're, that's our standard right now.
But we are planning to launch more things, so we appreciate everyone's support, and check back in with us, and we'll be sharing those items with you guys.
But let's jump into today's episode. So, obviously a lot of you guys are back in school. So today we want to talk about college. So, meeting our listeners at these events, we realize a large group of you guys are still in school or just out of it. You guys have been sending us messages to talk about college. For us, college was definitely those formative years that impacted those decisions leading into adulthood. So we also thought it would be really fun if we were reminisce and talk about, take you guys back to that time in our lives. So should we get into it?
Let's go.
Let's enter the time machine. Set that back. How many years now?
Oh, too many. I don't even know. Has it been 10 years? I think next year's going to be 10. Ooh.
Wait, that's crazy. Seriously?
It's been 12 years for me.
Yeah. Did you go back for your 10-year anniversary?
Is there 10 years?
Reunion.
I don't think I got I don't know if does UCSD do reunion things?
I would assume so.
If they do, I don't get emails.
Yeah.
Huh.
So Mel and I both went to UC San Diego, and that was on the West Coast, and Miss Helen went to Boston College on the East Coast.
That I did.
So we'll be talking about our experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess let's get into it. So getting into college, is the college you attended your dream school?
Oh, it was not for me.
Okay.
Boston, I grew up in Boston. I knew since I was 10 years old that I wanted to go out to California. So my mom's side of the family is from California. So every summer I would visit my grandparents. And my first diary entry ever, I think it was back in like 1997. Yes, now you can all calculate my age. But it was back in 1997. The first page says, I want to be where these palm trees are. Like in really bad, obviously written in English, but it literally said I want to move out to California. So ever since I was young, I wanted to move out. And after high school, I had applied to UCLA, USC, some out of state, some in state as well, and gone into both of them. But
You got into USC?
USC, UCLA, yes.
Wow.
And USC also offered some scholarship money, but I got a full ride to Boston College. And with immigrant parents, I'm like, okay, if they don't have to pay for my college, that's the best thing that I can do to help support my family, because college is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It is so expensive, especially a private college too. So I was like, okay, I guess I will go to Boston College. And I kind of did it reluctantly, kind of got mad at my parents for it, but I'm very thankful for it now.
Wait, did your sister also go to Boston College?
She did, yeah. And there was a part of me, because we went to the same high school and now we're going to the same college, there was a part of me that wanted to just not be so close to her. Because even growing up, we always fought. So for me, I was just like, I need some distance.
Yeah.
But she didn't dorm. She wasn't on campus that much, so it wasn't that big of a problem. Boston College, great school, was not my first choice. How about you ladies? Was UCSD your first choice?
Janet?
I have similar to Helen. It was not my first
okay.
choice. I actually really wanted to go to UC Berkeley, and I still remember the day that I got the rejection letter. I cried in my room because I was so sad. But yeah,
So what was your second choice then?
I don't actually know that I had a second choice. I think a lot of my friends UCLA was like a really big university, but I went and visited and I didn't really connect with the campus. I just really loved Berkeley and I loved the San Francisco Bay Area. That was kind of like the only college I really wanted to go to. And then when I didn't get in, I was like, oh, so sad. And then it was San Diego and Irvine. Didn't want to be close to home. So SD it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Miss Mel?
So for me, UCSD was my dream school. And I'm a transfer student. So I went to community college for 2 years. Those 2 years there at community college, I went to tour to different college campuses. And there's a moment in time I want to go to Berkeley because a lot of my friends went to Cal. But there's something about it. I knew the vibe wasn't for me. It was too close to home. And when I went to visit Irvine and San Diego, I automatically fell in love with it. I think the housing is just so much better than Berkeley. UCSD housing, like you're in La Jolla. It's a beautiful city.
It is a really pleasant campus. It is a
it's
beautiful campus.
So nice, and you're so close to the beach. And I'm such a water person that I'm like, when I went to UCSD, I'm like, this is it. It kind of feels like when you find like your true love. When I met UCSD, I was like, I know you're the one.
Wow. Wait, question though. So did you apply to UCSD? Because you started off community college for 2 years, but when you applied, your first time applying to schools, which schools did you apply to?
So I actually didn't. So in my senior year of high school, I knew I actually was going to go straight to community college, something my mom and I talked about because I still had really good grades. I just never took the SATs because I knew it was a decision going into that I was going to go to community college because my mom actually works really closely with the local community college. And so she said, save a lot of money. You don't know what you want to major in. So I agreed with her. And so going into my last 2 years of high school, I knew that. So I applied to UCSD my second year of college. So you apply your second year of community college, and you could do this thing called tag, which is guaranteed admission if you hit certain things. And I tagged UCSD. But even
this is like a trick into the system.
it kind of is, to
It
be
really
honest.
is. I've never heard of an Asian mom saying like don't apply to like colleges. You know,
She knows the
She
system.
knew because being an Asian mom, she also knows how to save a lot of money. So that's one thing she really endorsed. But I think for me, even though I tagged and I knew I got all the requirements in, getting that acceptance letter, I feel like I was like jumping for joy.
Oh, so you had like the opposite
I
experience of
did.
me. She got the big envelope. I got the small one.
Yeah. I didn't get into Berkeley or UCLA either.
Yeah.
But getting into UCSD, I was like, yay. So yeah, it was my dream school.
oh, I can imagine little Mel just like jumping up and down.
Well, when you applied, did you select a major?
I did.
What was the major you selected?
I selected communications. Actually, my old manager at this restaurant told me, she's like, Mel, you'd be really good at communications. And I was like, I didn't know that existed as a major because all you hear is like finance, I was looking at econ. Thank God I didn't do that. But so comm just seemed like the best fit for me.
Did it turn out to be the best fit for you, do you think?
I think so. I mean, sometimes I wish I did film and media studies, and that wasn't an option at UCSD. Actually, I don't know if it was, but I feel communications encompasses that anyways. So I thought it was a perfect broad major for me.
What's the one thing that you learn in communication? I feel like it's always such like a broad thing.
Okay, so I took this class called Human Information Processing, and there's this thing called like connotations. I mean, we all know what connotations are. And learning how different messages or words have stronger meanings than others. Like, for example, when you go, I'm pregnant, it's a girl, it's a boy. That's not just a regular statement. It's something that affects your whole life. That one statement could change everything. When I learned that, I was like, that's really cool. Yeah, that's one thing I learned.
Did you ever like question your major or think about changing your major?
No. I actually, I don't remember having to do that. But yeah. How about you guys? What major did you guys go into?
Helen?
So it's funny because I mentioned this at the Off the Mic event, but before the first day of college, I got a letter in the mail, and I think a lot of us did as well. And it was just a piece of paper that had a bunch of boxes on it, and it said, you know, check off which college you want to apply to, right? So it's like nursing, communications, pre-med, Carroll School of Management. And I literally, when I got that, I thought it was just like a survey of like, what do you think is the best I don't know. I was dumb. And my sister, she was already 2 years older than me and at Boston College, and she had checked off the Carroll School of Management. She was in that college, and she was kind of like the golden child, kind of the smarter one of us two. And so I was like, okay, if she made that decision to go into management, obviously I'm going to do that too because I'm stupid, and that's probably the best choice. So I checked that box, and I didn't even consult with like anyone about that. Back then, it's kind of weird thinking about it now because that's such a major decision in anyone's life. And I don't think I had the right mentors. My parents being like immigrant parents, and they were working most of the time and like was not that involved with our school. My mom wanted was like apply to Harvard, and I ended up not applying to Harvard because of the $60 common application, and I was like, I don't want to spend that money and not get in. So I actually ended up not applying and doing the one thing she wanted me to. But in any case, I checked that box, sent it in, and that was it. That literally dictated the rest of my life up to today, which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Did you ever like think about changing your major?
I didn't. In hindsight now, I think about how there was a lot of me sort of just like falling into the things that I think I was supposed to do or the things that people told me to do, right? Like your parents pick your elementary school, they pick your high school. And then for college, it was like, okay, well, my sister went there and then like got the scholarship. I guess I have to go there, right? And then the Carroll School of Management, my sister went there. So I feel like I always like fell into these things and I never really picked the things I wanted to pick for myself. And then when I'm in it, I think I'm just the type of person that is pretty competitive with like my peers. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ace this test and you know, be like a top student in this school. And after that, it's like I'm gonna get the best job. But it wasn't really my own desire, I would say. I think I was like good at it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to change it because I knew it was also like one of the best schools at Boston College.
It's like a sense of prestige being a part of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people wanted to transfer in, so I was like, of course I'm not going to transfer out.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Janet?
That was actually, I mean, when Helen talks about like focusing on the prestige of the program, I actually went into college undecided.
Oh.
And then when I was there the first year, because I didn't feel a particular draw to any one subject, I thought about the school that I was at and what are they really well known for. So UCSD, big medical school, right? Or like medical related industries. So I was like, okay, maybe biology. But if I were to do that, I was interested specifically in biopsychology, and they didn't have that at the undergraduate level. And I didn't really love medicine enough to be like competing against all these people who are trying to go pre-med. So I was like, okay, but I was still thinking about that. And then the other program, UCSD is actually really well known for their economics program. So their graduate school is like second to Yale. So I knew that the classes I'd be taking, the professors would be those same professors. And being the masochistic, I guess like Asian American student, I chose economics because I didn't want to compete with all the medical students and I didn't want to go to medical school. And then I decided that economics was not hard enough, so I wanted to add on math. At the end of the day, when I think about it, it's like you're chasing and you're having some ambition, but it was probably to fulfill some sort of like sense of self-worth or identity or whatever that is.
I agree.
So I kind of pushed myself through that program, and then also just as someone who had a lot of interests. I did, joint math and econ, but I wanted to minor in something, and I was interested in dance. I was also interested in visual arts and also in international studies. So by the time I graduated, I probably took a class in like almost every department in the
Oh my
in the
gosh.
university.
But I think that's really cool that you did take a bunch of different classes to try and figure out, what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, what I did was I double majored in finance and marketing, and I think it's the same thing, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, if people can double major, of course I'm going to double major and do something else also. But I remember like wanting to fulfill all the credits I was supposed to as fast as I could without taking the time to do something that I like enjoyed. So I think that's pretty cool that you were like, oh, I want to, minor in like dance or like, take all these different classes and use your time wisely in college. Yeah.
Did you end up with a minor?
Yes. So I did a minor in international studies, and then my major was a joint math and econ program.
Oh my gosh.
I actually didn't know you were math and econ.
Yeah, math. I didn't know that one.
Math was fucking hard. Math, I don't know why I did hard. Well, the thing is, when I tell people that, they're like, oh, so you're like really good with numbers. But actually, math at the upper level there's no numbers. It's all symbols.
Yeah.
It's all about formulas and theorems and proving theorems and theories. And it's much more about abstract thinking. So,
interesting.
So I actually appreciate that I did that because I think that it helps me frame maybe the way that I would like break down a problem or the way that I see things. For me personally, it was really challenging to get through the program. And so having to like push yourself through something like that was like, that builds up some sort of like self-confidence, right?
No, yeah. And I also wonder, this is like very off topic, but I wonder if the abstract component of math, I wonder if that's why you like art so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like conceptual thinking,
Yeah.
which is a bit of what I do now.
Yeah. I actually didn't even know, being from UCSD, economics is number 2.
The graduate program is,
Number 2 in what?
in the nation. So
Wow.
at the time that we went to school, Yale was the top for a graduate program, and then UCSD's graduate program, not undergrad. But then a lot of the professors, they teach both programs.
Oh, wow.
And then I think also like it's like that driven because of our cultural kind of background. Like I forced myself into even like the more challenging, like the quantitative econ classes. And I remember sitting in some of those and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Who are you? Who is this Janet?
What the hell? I was that student. I was like, no, that's too hard. I was like, I want to take the fun classes.
Because of that, though, I became accustomed to the feeling of failing because a lot of those classes, like you get like a C and that sets the curve from being like a B or A minus.
Right,
So you learn how to like literally get like 30% correct on a math exam and for that to be like a B or like a B plus.
Oh my gosh.
Which is kind of, it's like, kind of throws, if you have like the perfectionist drive, it helps you feel okay with not being perfect.
I would have thought you were like an English major. I actually didn't know that you were math and econ.
Yeah,
Wow.
math, econ.
This actually jumps into our second topic, which is first college experiences and like attending class for the first time. So as a transfer student, I always felt like I was playing in the minor leagues with school. And I remember going to my first UCSD class and sitting there and like everyone looked kind of older than me.
So were you a junior or sophomore?
I was a junior my first year of college.
That's hard.
Yeah. So I feel like
Oh yeah, that is.
and you're entering like your upperclassmen class, like,
Yeah.
like under
Right.
is it
Upper
upper
division
upper division
classes,
classes.
yeah.
And I remember sitting there feeling like, oh shit, like I'm playing the major leagues now and I gotta get my shit together. And my first homework assignment was to read this like book. I couldn't even get past the first sentence. So I didn't understand what the hell they were saying. So I was like, oh shit, like am I gonna fail college? That was a thought that came through my mind. Do you guys remember attending your first class?
Not
or feeling the difference between high school and college?
We're a little more far removed than Miss Melody here. So I don't remember my first class. I remember like the whole dorm experience.
How was your dorm experience then?
I can't, you know how like sometimes you just have like snippets of like images in your mind. I still remember just like walking down the hall and seeing everyone's families trying to like find their dorms, like all these like girls just meeting each other, like, oh hey, I'm new here, where are you from? And I remember that moment. But my freshman roommate was one of my best friends, still one of my best friends from high school, Christine. We were together and it was fun. It's kind of like, oh, we get to live together, and we had some pretty crazy experiences. Yeah. But it was a little different in Boston College because we were on the Newton campus, so we were a bus stop away from the main campus.
Oh, interesting.
But it was like all freshmen living on that campus, so it was kind of fun there too.
Was it like a co-ed or like was it like
Our floor was not co-ed. I don't think that's there are some, but yeah, our floor was not co-ed. But we hung out with our like floor mates and the other people in our building, and yeah, those college parties, you turn off the lights and pretend to be dancing like 20 people in one small like 2-bed dorm, and you just made it work. But
Dang.
Wait, so you had a roommate? Did you guys have like suite mates or people on your floor that?
it was just one room with like 2 beds. We didn't have one of the bigger suites that usually fit like 6 to 8. So it was just me and Christine, and yeah, it was fun.
So it was like one floor, you guys shared a room, and there was like a shared bathroom in the hall.
Shared bathroom,
awesome.
like a huge bathroom for everyone on that floor.
Dang.
There was a part of me that like is like, oh, I didn't get to have that like freshman experience where you go to college and you don't know who your freshman roommate is, because you do have a choice to pick a friend that you want to stay with if you want to do, and usually it gets granted. But Janet, your first year, you lived with someone that you didn't know at all, right?
Yeah, and the way that UCSD worked, we had suites. So you had one roommate for the room, but then there were 5 rooms that shared a bathroom and living area. So in total, it was like 10 girls in like a apartment, you could call it like that.
That's so many girls.
It is. It actually was a lot, yeah. Because I grew up in Orange County, and so there weren't a lot of like Asian people. But I thought, oh, I'm going to go to college now. I'm going to be exposed to all these different types of cultures and like so much diversity. And it's a UC school. And everyone knows UC schools, there's a lot of Asian people. And I remember walking into the suite and looking at all the name tags, and every single one of them
Wang,
was
wang,
like
wang, 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 wang.
I mean, it actually turned out really interesting, because even though a lot of us, I think it was like 8 out of the 10 girls were like some sort of quote unquote Asian, we're all really, really different. Different types of Asian, but also like a Korean girl who was adopted, and like a girl from Hong Kong. So she was like, you know, came from Hong Kong to the US. And so, yeah, I actually got to know the girls really well, and it was a great experience. How about you, Mel?
I actually also selected my roommate. So as a transfer student, UCSD has one of the best transfer housings, I would say, out of the UCs. So my whole building, or my whole area for housing, was transfer students.
That's nice, yeah.
We were spoiled. I had at the 13th floor balcony ocean view apartment. So we had 3 bedrooms, 6 girls, so 2 girls each, and we shared a kitchen and 2 bathrooms. And the floor was co-ed. And so my roommate was someone I met in community college, Tiffany. She's one of my like closest friends now. So I roomed with her because we're like, oh, we kind of know each other, but we don't know how it's going to be. So we're roommates. And she's like, hey, can my best friend Sally also stay with us? We're like, okay. So 3 out of 6 of us, we knew each other. The other 3, we had no idea. Luckily, 2 out of those 3 girls turned out to be really close. This is the first time living with non-Asian people. So I feel like I learned a lot with that experience. And you know what was it, dorming? Like, dorming is something you always like see from the movies, like, you know, but then experiencing it for the first time, you're like, wow, this is actually happening to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm living off by myself. College parties happen, and like everyone's super friendly to want to meet each other. It just felt like it was a very special time. I don't think you could take back. You don't find that anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Nor would I want to live in one room with 6
girls. Hell no, dude. It's crazy.
That was like our upperclassmen dorm, where it would be suites. So I remember thinking like, oh, those are the nice suites. You guys had that as a freshman.
So we had like the main Revell dorms, and then they called them the Fleets, which were these like cement buildings that actually came from like really, really long time ago, and I think were built during the wartime for something.
Not gonna lie, Revell, so UCSD has like 6 different colleges.
Yeah.
Revell is like, everyone's like, looks like a prison.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't the
most
most enjoyable.
It was very depressing.
All right, that's fun in my mind, not anymore.
I actually want to hear about your guys' first college party experience. Like that's a thing. Or do you remember? Like,
I actually don't really remember.
You don't remember?
I do remember like the parties that I went to, because I was on Ascension dance team. It was, most of them were like kind of like upperclassmen that hosted parties at their homes, and then we'd go out to that. I didn't really drink in college. I started drinking near the end of my college experience, but I loved dancing and I loved music. So I would go, if we went clubbing or if we went to house parties, I would always go, and everyone else would be like binge drinking and I would just be like dancing.
Is there first off, Jana's an amazing dancer. Look up Ascension 2000. What?
Six?
No? 6?
5?
5?
It's either 6 or 5.
2005. Or
And
2004.
Find her in the very pixelated video. She's like, hot. Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, what about you ladies? What were your college parties like? What was it like in Boston, Helen?
Yeah, I wonder about
Oh man!
Boston.
Oh my gosh! Okay, when you say Boston, I just thought about the weather because this was. I mean, this wasn't freshman year, but so Boston College is pretty far away from the city. Maybe like we had to take a train into the city, so it'd be like 35, 40 minutes maybe to get in there, or we took like a cab because we didn't have Uber back then. But like we would actually wear heels in the snow. Like there'd be a snowstorm and we'd be wearing heels and mini skirts. Stupid freaking college kids. I remember doing that a lot. And yeah, your legs would just be numb. But I remember like in freshman year, the college parties were really fun because we were all like, freshmen, and we had like the whole mini campus for ourselves. Incredibly diverse. And the first time I almost hooked up with like white guys. But yeah, that was fun. Just thinking back.
I was like, oh yeah, that one time.
Yeah, they're like doctors now.
But did you have any like? I feel like some colleges had like certain traditions, like with like partying. Like I think you mentioned before, like what was that competition you guys had?
Competition? Oh gosh, no. So we did this is so bad, but like we did like case races, and I mean this is when you get into like student organizations, and so I was part of the Chinese Student Association, and us along with other like Asian orgs with this thing called a case race. I don't think we should go into like too much detail, but there's a lot of alcohol involved and a lot of cases of alcohol that you had to finish from one building running to the next competition amongst like the different grades, like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So bad idea.
But no lie, look, it sounded kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a very memorable day.
Yeah.
But another memory that I have just from like college parties. So yeah, the upperclassmen would throw the parties, and they were the ones that had the bigger suites, kind of like what your places were like, right? With like each suite had like 3 rooms for doubles in there. But there was a main living room area. We would just have these like crazy parties, and you know how it gets like really sweaty? It's like a hot box.
Yeah, it's so hot.
It's like a sauna.
So there was one time where the next morning we turned on the light, and there was like blue all along the walls, and we couldn't figure out what it was. But then it was like all like the same kind of level.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the fuck is that? And we realized it's because the heat and people's sweat, everyone's jeans rubbed off on the wall.
Oh my god.
Really? Yeah. So there's like jean stains all on the wall. And, like,
That's hilarious.
People standing on tables. So like it's like the same level everywhere. Just like above the tables or like on the ground. And we're like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, it was jean stains. I remember that very clearly.
That is so funny.
We had some nasty ass parties.
Yuck. Do you guys have to clean it?
Yeah, we had to like rub it off.
Yuck.
Like, scrub it down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was my party experience. How about you? How about Janet? How about you?
Well, we actually, Mel, San Diego, we're close to Tijuana. Did you ever go to TJ?
I heard that was a thing.
I actually never been to TJ.
In hindsight, I feel like that was so stupid and dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like drove past the border and you go into these crazy, like pretty, probably nasty clubs, but the lights are down and you're just kind of like, you're there getting drinks. But
were there a lot of college? Did you go with just like you and your friends, or was it a school bus?
Yeah, no, it was just a group of us, like a handful, like 5 people. And so now in hindsight, I was like, oh, that was so dangerous. And it wasn't even that like great.
So it's a one night thing.
Yeah, we drove over and then like went out and because like you can buy alcohol and like I guess you could buy it at UCSD as well. But it was the experience of going to TJ.
You can't buy alcohol at UCSD. Just a.
Oh, that's right. You can.
Wait, we can.
You can't. There was a bar on campus though.
Oh yeah.
You guys had a bar. Okay, we definitely didn't have a bar.
Yeah,
on
we
campus.
definitely had a bar. I
Well,
forgot
we had
about
a church on campus.
What about you, Mel? Because you came in when. Wait, how old were you when you transferred?
I was 21, yeah.
21. So you were able to legally drink.
I was. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, okay, so I remember my first, like, fraternity party. I don't want to say which one. It was, like, a business frat. I think that kind of shocked me because I think you see these parties through, like, a lot of, like, Hollywood movies. And when you go to one for the first time, you're like, what the hell is this? I remember I got in. Everyone was getting, like, wasted, and I was kind of in shock at, like, how crazy it was. Like, Literally, this is something like I still feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
But they literally had handles, and then everyone's like passing like a handle around, and they're counting down. And part of me is like, yo, that's kind of like crazy. I didn't participate in that. I was like, I'll just take my shot over here. I do think college parties are a little crazy. It's because you're letting loose. Some people feel maybe restricted in high school, and they're like kind of going crazy now.
Freedom is the freedom.
Yeah, but one thing I always say though, like I did enjoy house parties because like I had a friend named Sam. He would throw house parties, and like that's where you meet guys. And I always thought beer pong was like a way for guys to like flex and like, you know, kind of like there's like kind of like competition. There's like flirty going around. I remember like, so you think a guy's really cute, whether you pair up with him or like you're going against him, it's like you want to beat him. So when you make the last cup, it always feels like a crazy win.
Yeah, and then you can pick up his balls.
I didn't think of it that way. But like I did think like beer pong in some way was like a way how like guys and girls like kind of like met each other and like started some like, you know, flirty relationship.
It's easy.
But,
It's an easy in.
right?
Yeah.
No, totally. So I think for me, I think of college parties, think of like how I think of like a sweaty ass, like a hot room.
Oh yeah, jungle juice,
Everclear,
Everclear.
beer pong, and we had like troll tables, like things like that, and like. You know, I think, yeah, and maybe some romantic relationships along the way. But I think for me, another thing when I think of partying in college is like, I think we were lucky to be from San Diego because we have like different areas to drink. We had like the metropolitan downtown San Diego where clubs are at. And then we had like Pacific Beach where like everyone went to this thing called PB Bar and Grill. And I always remember because on Thursdays, it's something called Asian Night. And
Oh yeah, I had a place called
yeah,
that was Asian
yeah,
night
you had
too.
an Asian
Yeah,
night too.
yeah.
So we had an Asian night, and I think because all the Asians will go out,
Yeah.
and it's also because the drinks were literally $5 for an AMF.
Yeah,
I think
it
that's
was
the same for us, yeah.
dangerous, kind of.
It was like it was crazy, but like looking back, I'm like $5.
Yeah, no, we had something. Kel's was our place. It was the best. Still probably the best bar that I've ever been to. I went there when I was 21, and literally got carried out of that bar like over someone's shoulder on my 21st birthday.
Oh,
it was
shit.
Kel's,
Oh,
and
that's
then
your 21st birthday?
yeah. I have a photo. I think it's on my Facebook if anyone's Facebook friends with me. But I
Oh,
have
I'll
like
totally go
I'm
look.
showing the bouncer my ID, and then my caption's like, "Yeah, check that ID." And then later on, my friend like posted about me like getting carried out. Like, yeah, you check that ID.
Dude,
Actually, PB Bar and Grill, I got kicked out of there.
What? Did you really?
Yeah. That was like when we, near graduation.
Oh, of
a friend and I, we had a little too much to drink, and I wore my sunglasses in there, and for them, it's like some like health hazard, and I was like really like determined that I needed to have my sunglasses. And I lost a contact lens. It was kind of a mess. But,
Oh my gosh. I actually had my birthday at PB Bar and Grill.
Oh.
It was interesting because that's where literally like this sounds really like crazy, but that's like when you're on the prowl. Like I would always check out guys at PB Bar and
Did
Grill.
you ever pick anyone up? Or did anyone pick you up?
Not like Helen picked up, like physically. Actually, I don't remember. There's definitely flirted here and there. And we got a number. I remember my roommates were like, "Oh, Mel again every week.
Yeah.
Why are we
So
going to
you
PB
were
Bar?"
the instigator of the
I was that
yeah.
person. They're like, "You guys, you just want to go to Asian night to see all the hot Asian guys." I'm just
Yeah.
like,
It was always Thursday. Was it Thursday for you guys?
Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. It's funny because now I'm just like, I can't even handle one night. How the hell
know.
did I do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday
Yeah.
in college? Oh my
It was
gosh.
Kel's for us, Wonder Bar, and Wonder Bar was fun too. And then afterwards, did you guys get like delivery food all the time? We got New Hong Kong. It was a Chinese place. It was
really?
so cheap. And it was so
Do you get it
good.
delivered?
Yeah, we would get it delivered.
Oh man.
Wow. We didn't.
What did you have?
I had Roberto's Mexican food, San Diego,
Yep.
but we always drove. But I was like, if we were drinking, that's probably not.
I know. Sometimes we'd walk. No, we didn't walk.
We were dumb.
I know, we
Dumb
were
college.
dumb.
Oh,
But you know,
God.
I don't
But
know
a-
if you had
but a
it.
good experience.
Janet, like during my time at UCSD, we had this thing called Del Sushi. They would deliver sushi.
They would deliver sushi?
Deliver sushi.
Oh, I didn't have that. That sounds I think people would go there, though. It's an actual restaurant, right?
I don't know actually, but we used to have delivered sushi. But this is before Uber Eats and all that stuff,
Y'all
right?
fancy.
Yeah,
I
that was
know.
We got some
fancy.
cheap ass
Well, we
Chinese
also
food.
that sounds hella good though. Our thing was Mexican food. Vallarta's 24/7, carne asada fries, Christian fries.
It's funny. I didn't actually know what carne asada fries were until I came to California.
I think it is a California.
yeah,
like how it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Or like, what do they call that? Is it the California burrito? Where
Oh
they
my
put,
God,
like, the French
French
fries
fries.
in?
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds. Oh, I feel like I'm taken back to college right now because whenever I go back to San Diego in general, I try to go to the same spots I used to go to in college. Is that Cowbell? What was it called?
Kel's. No, they
Kel-
closed down.
Cowbell?
Cowbell. They closed down and it's like a sports bar now. It's kind of lame. But yeah, I think Wonder Bar is still there. I mean, I don't go back. There's a lot of change in
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
In
I
Boston, oh my gosh, there's a lot of change since I've been gone actually for the past 6 years. I feel like the whole city has just grown.
Yeah.
Dang, that's nuts.
Yeah.
UCSD
South End and
too.
everything.
They're the like school's like almost not even recognizable now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had mentioned, our Off the Mic event was off the chain, and that's thanks to some of our amazing sponsors. A huge shout out to Ethos Society in K-Town for providing the event space. They are a supportive communal workspace where inspired, like-hearted people can follow their work passions and dreams.
Thanks also to Passion Planner. They provided notebooks that are appointment calendars, goal-setting guides, a journal, sketchbook, gratitude log, and personal and work to-do lists all in one. Also to Smoko, the Los Angeles-based office and home product company that partners with emerging designers to create cute and quirky goods for your office and home.
And Bopomofo Cafe, our good friends Philip and Eric Wang for bringing their delicious jasmine milk tea and strawberry basil lemonade. Go check them out in the San Gabriel Valley. Thanks also to Backhouse in K-Town for providing the after party for all of our guests to mingle and get to know each other. And thanks to our many other sponsors as well. Personal shout out to Popcorners from myself, Helen, just because I love them so much. Best chips ever.
All right, we can't talk about college without talking about relationships, right? So yeah, do you guys remember who you dated in college? And you're like, because it's like your first, like, kind of real relationship, right?
Yeah, that's true. No, I had my first real relationship was high school.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
Okay, fine.
3-4 years.
Your first relationship not living at home.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
That's a huge
That is a
thing.
big deal.
Who wants to go first? Why are you looking
Well,
at
everyone's
me?
looking at each other.
So freshman year, you mentioned like it was kind of hookups,
Yeah.
but only like making out. We never went like further than that. But yeah, freshman year, I didn't have a boyfriend. I don't think. Shit. I think it was sophomore year. I joined the Chinese Students Association organization, and I joined freshman year, so I was a fresh rep, and then sophomore year I was the treasurer. My president at the time was my boyfriend. So yeah.
Wait, how'd that happen?
Yeah, how did that?
I mean, late nights, hanging out all the time, and you know how it goes.
Were you like, oh my god, he's the president?
You know what? I think there was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It was like, the upperclassmen who everyone like respected, and who was kind of cute, and so all of that combined led us to going out. But we only went out for a couple of months.
Oh.
He lived off campus too, so yeah, it was the first time like staying over someone's place that was
Yeah.
like his own without having to sneak around.
Especially since you're dorming, right? It's like,
Yeah,
he
I
has
was-
his own place.
Exactly. So I was dorming and he lived off campus, so I would like go out. It was like 15-20 minutes away, and it was different. I don't know. I mean, he's like happily married, has a kid now, so very, very happy for him. We don't keep in touch, but I think it was more like a lustful relationship than something. I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna work out. That was my first one, and then my second one was someone that I met at Boston University. It's kind of interesting because I feel like when you go to high school in Boston, because there are so many good colleges in Boston, you kind of just naturally end up in the same place. So like Harvard, MIT, Babson, Bentley, a lot of my friends went to these colleges, so we were like all in the same vicinity. And Boston's not a big place. It's not like sprawled out like LA is, right? So we would actually just go to each other's colleges and hang out at their parties. That's what I did a lot of.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I went to Boston University to visit a friend for like a culture show, and that's where I met my second college boyfriend. And we went out for like 4 years or so.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a very. So was it the rest of your college experience
Was with him.
Wait, is this the boyfriend before you came to LA?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was going out with him. I think we started going out probably like late junior or senior year that we started going out. Because, yeah, I was with him for the 3 years I was in Boston before I moved to LA.
So you met at a house party, like a party.
It was a dorm party. Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
remember
then
we were,
was it
sitting
like
around.
was like instant like I like you or like
No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. I think the attraction came more from just like personality. We both played volleyball, and he would always ask me to go play in tournaments with him. And I think it was just a huge attraction to his personality and how like good-hearted he was. Yeah. And then became like physical attraction, which is why when people are like, oh, you have to be physically attracted first, I'm like, I don't know. I was surprised at myself that I was able to be attracted to someone's personality first, because like, I mean, college, like, you're vain, you're young,
Yeah.
I think that's a very common thought to have, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to jump him, right? That's like one of your
Yeah.
things, right, Janet? Like, he has to be kind, he has to be a future good husband, and you want to jump him. Whatever it is, I probably messed that up for you, but like, that's one of the clear indicators that you're attracted to them.
Wait, so you guys were at two different schools, right? So what was that experience like for most of your college experience? You were dating someone who was in a different university.
It was hard because I was also the co-president of the Chinese Students Association when I was a senior, and having a boyfriend that's not in the same college as you, I would always be sort of away. And then I also had like two best friends at BC. I think I had mentioned this in one of the previous podcasts before. Just being away, they were kind of like, where are you? You know, like, why are you disappearing for this guy? And you know, when you get into a relationship, and it's like you want to be with them all the time and stay overnight with them, and they'll be like, Helen, we're having a party, like, come back over here, we're throwing a party for all the undergrads, like, you should be here as the president. So it was a really difficult time. There's a part of me that wishes that I was more present, I would say, those later years, but at the same time made a lot of really good friends at BU too. So it wasn't easy, but puppy love, man, takes control.
I feel you.
How about you ladies?
Miss Melody?
So I wasn't dating the 2 years in community college, and then when I got there, at one of those house parties for the fraternity, I met someone, and I started dating him, and he actually graduated already. So it was my junior year of college. He already graduated the year previously, so he actually was living in Orange County or Cerritos. So it was already long distance. My first real, like, it's not, I don't know if I consider it a relationship because we were never like exclusive. It was someone I dated for a few months. In college, like, oh, you feel very real. Like, this is a serious thing, right? But then, yeah, I dated him. I got warned not to date him because apparently in his fraternity, he kind of like got around, and I'm someone that I guess I tend to ignore people's warnings because I rather just see for myself, and I want to use my own judgment. But yeah, it was an interesting relationship. I had a lot of fun. He went to culinary school when I was in undergrad, so he was like really big into food. So I think we clicked that way. I don't know, like I was like obsessed with him too. Like he broke up with me, and I was crying, and he said this to me. All of us remember he was like, the timing just isn't right. And in college, like I didn't understand what that meant, right? I was like, timing, that's bullshit. Like if you really liked me, you'd want to make this work. But now, like in my 20s, I'm like, yeah, timing's a thing. Like it's definitely a thing. And I didn't understand it then, but he was someone that like on and off I would always think about. Like even though we broke up, like he moved back into San Diego. I would see him at parties, and I feel like there's always like this draw to him.
So you would still see him around after you guys broke up?
Yeah, we're actually really connected still, even today.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Shit. Like
okay,
holler.
so
No?
well,
Is he still single?
Is he listening to this podcast right now?
No, he doesn't listen. I think we have some mutual friends that listen.
Okay.
No, I think like I remember like I'm someone that gets like, you know me, I kind of get attached to someone really easily, and so I did with him. And when I moved back to LA in 2014, my housemates were like in the same fraternity as him. I'm still friends with a lot of the people that he was in a frat with, and so yeah, I mean, haven't seen him in years, so I don't know. But there's that guy. And the second guy I dated was my senior year. So I always dated one guy per year. So my last year, I was a senior, and I was public relations chair of my Taiwanese American Student Association. And there was this freshman guy that came in. And
she was robbing the cradle.
I'm sorry. You just said you were a junior?
Oh, this is a senior.
Are you
Senior.
Wow.
I know. And
Where's
so
that cougar sound?
I know. It's just like, it's crazy because like there was that moment when he literally walked into my meeting, like the general, like the GBM meeting, and I saw him. I was like, oh no. Like it was just like feeling like,
oh, you know, you're like, I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I'm attracted to this guy. And I'm like, no. And
What
like,
did he look like? Describe him, this freshman.
you know,
Describe
that's
him.
crazy. This is the thing. He looks like a jock. Like,
Okay.
very
That's
jockey.
that you have an attraction towards that type.
Athletic type, fit.
How could you, was his shirt on?
He was on for sure.
He walks with his shirt off.
No, it was
I'm a
definitely on. It was
freshman.
fitted. But like he had like a really good reputation too. Like so he came into the room and I was like, oh my god, who's this guy? And then I was like, no, he's a freshman. I'm a senior. That's so frowned upon. Like, and I'm on board. I can't do this. He ends up being in my family because we had families.
Oh shit! It's one of those like weird like porn kicky stuff
Oh,
things where it's like within the family stepmom. Shit, I
gosh.
don't watch that, but I think that's out
okay.
there.
No, but like I was like his family head. So it got weird.
Family
but then
head.
oh god.
Okay.
I think obviously when you spend so
Yeah,
much
you're
time,
extremely sorry.
when you spend so much time together, our attraction just slowly started growing.
Yeah.
And to the point where everyone's like, Mel, I think you and him are obviously there's something there. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
people
no.
could see it.
Yeah.
I remember this moment, like finals week, everyone spends like hours at the library, right? And so me and him and like a group of friends would always be there. And like slowly as the finals week started progressing, we're the last ones standing at the library. And there's one moment where he's walking back to my car, and there was like a lingering moment because it was like literally the few days before winter break, and you just felt something in the air. And then during winter break, we started webcamming. That sounds really gross.
Wait, so wait, so nothing happened in with the air?
No, but there's like a, you could feel it, like the tension. You could feel like there's like
A lingering
feeling.
yeah.
So we were back at home for winter break, and a group of us were on a group chat. Like Google Hangouts was a thing, you know? And so we always end up being the last ones again. And at one point, I asked him, like, is there something like is there someone you're interested in the club? He said, well, there's someone. And then obviously through that, we're like, well, I'll tell you if you tell me. You know, the whole, like, you.
So who said first?
Yeah. And so we both revealed that we kind of liked each other.
Oh.
And then going back into the school year, the new semester, or the quarter, we started dating. And it was like kind of weird at first, but then, like, you know, obviously it started getting publicized. We were hiding it for a bit, and then it just got revealed. And I got called cougar by all my whole e-board members. But our relationship was very, like, even though there was a lot of lust, like a lot of, like, puppy love. I think he was the first guy, this sounds really weird to say, but, like, I found so attractive to have someone like me back. Like kind of, like, unbelievable for me. Because a lot of women wanted him in college. Like, oh, he's perfect. He's, like, godlike. People actually said that. I know. I was like, why would you say that?
Okay.
But it's because he was, like, extremely kind, extremely smart, athletic, just, like, all these things. So, like, even to this, it's funny.
Yeah, where is he now?
He is in Boston, actually.
Oh.
He is, I hope you're not listening, but I'm totally stalked. He is at MIT.
Oh.
Smart guy. I think he has a girlfriend now. But yeah, like, obviously we didn't end up working out because we're so different. He's actually
Young.
not even that. He is religious. Like, and so me
religion,
not being
yeah.
Christian was a huge thing for him.
I
And
see.
like our lifestyles were really different. And so we just didn't work out. And that was really tough for me again because he was someone I thought, like, I see around and all these things. So it took me like about a year to get over him. But to this day, like, he is someone that, like, out of like, all the guys I've dated, he's someone I wish nothing but the best to.
Oh.
Because he was so great. Good luck, you, if you're listening, but you're amazing. And I'm excited to see what you're
Oh, I hope none of your other boyfriends or ex-boyfriends are listening. They're like,
honestly, it don't matter.
oh shit.
Whatever. No, he was great. But that was my experiences with my relationships in college.
That's like the reverse. That's like the reverse of mine, where it's like the old upperclassmen and I was the younger,
yeah.
and you cougared it, and
I totally cougared it.
Well, you ladies both mentioned two guys. Were the guys that you dated, were they similar or were they very different from each other?
so
So
different,
different.
so
Very.
different. Yeah.
How so? Because I mean, college is the time where you're kind of experimenting with dating different types of people, right? So how would you describe the
True.
first guy versus the second guy?
I mean, that relationship was like all out of, I think, lust or like just that feeling of like, oh, I'm like the younger class, and oh, he's such upper class, oh, like, you know, like that feeling. I don't know if that described the feeling, but I didn't feel connected. You know, it was like a forced connection, and me trying to like be cool so that he could, you know, because it was always like, I don't think I'm enough because I'm so young and still immature compared to this guy who's like the president of the club, you know?
Yeah.
So that was just like a weird relationship in my mind from all the relationships that I've had. Again, he's happy now and like with a kid, and his kid's super cute, so that's all good. But yeah, the second guy I was with, I was with him for like 4 years, and I honestly thought I was gonna marry him at one point. Our personalities like vibed very, very well. And like you said, Mel, similar for me, he's like one of the people that I'm just like, I hope the absolute best for you. Like, there's nothing there anymore, but it's just like, you're such a good person.
Yeah.
And like the way that we kind of ended by me moving to LA was, it made it somewhat rocky ending. It was difficult because we like didn't end up being like close friends afterwards. He still came to visit me once when I was in LA early on, but then after that we kind of just like cut ties. But yeah, he's someone that I just wish the absolute best for, because he's a great person.
It's a really good feeling to have that with someone, like knowing that, like, I know we are completely not meant to be for each other. Yeah. But you did no wrong to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what it is.
That's,
like,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And so just like you are like, it's like not you're an angel, but like you just deserve everything.
Well, your guy was a godlike, so
I mean,
apparently.
But it's different because like the two guys I've dated, the first guy that I dated, the chef dude, like when you look at him physically, you would never assume that he was like a fuckboy or whatever, or he like had this reputation, but his personality he was a little reckless.
Is he also like a very flirtatious person?
Yeah.
Charming personality.
Yeah, seems like to be a little pattern I may be interested in. But anyway, it's like he was like that. And then the second one looked like a frat boy. He looked kind of, but he looked kind of like a fuckboy. Fratty, looking athletic, but was so kind.
Yeah.
Like super kind. So I think in that sense, like it was completely flipped. But there's a common thread is that like I do, maybe because I was part of the Taiwanese American Student Association, both guys were Taiwanese American. But for me, it shows like there's so much range within Asian Americans in general. But here's the thing that's weird. The first guy that I would say, personality, I think is more fit for me. He was fun. Like we kind of like, we could banter, and like I'm really playful, and he was really playful with me. And I kind of enjoyed that. The second guy, even though he's super great and all these things, personality was definitely a mismatch to some degree. Our lifestyles were so different. And I couldn't see myself with him actually now. Even though the first one was a little like tumultuous sometimes, like I think personality was a fit.
Well, if y'all listening out there,
Hit us up at asianbossgirl@gmail.com.
We do this
Subject
every
for Miss Melody.
We do this every season.
People have emailed us and just said like, go Janet or go Mel. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, we read them, so
It's a thing.
holler.
But yeah, Janet, how about you?
I know, I feel like Janet's.
This
I
isn't
feel like
there.
we've heard a lot about you dating after college and like the many men and the waxing of the backs that you've done. Did you have to do that in college?
I also had two like relationships through college. And the first one was my very, very first boyfriend was actually in high school, and that carried over into college. So my first year of college when I went into school I was in a relationship, and he went to UC Irvine and I was in UC San Diego. So my weekends and even some of my weekdays were spent kind of mostly like kind of spending time with him, I guess. And we ended up breaking up within my freshman year, probably like halfway through the school year. And some of it was also, when Mel, you talked about like the religion thing.
Yeah.
That was like the catalyst of what broke us up. But I think in the end, it was just we kind of both knew it wasn't really going to work out. There were two relationships I've had in my life where I feel like they could have turned into marriage. And that with him was actually, it was one of them.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he was like ready for marriage and he wanted that. But I was not. That was like my first relationship, and I wasn't really at that place.
Yeah.
And then the second guy,
Sorry, where is he now?
He's married. I think he has a kid. He seems really happy. I don't. We kept in contact for like maybe 2 years after we broke up, and like we would still like see each other, but then we slowly kind of lost contact. But if I saw him today, I think it's all like it didn't end badly.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was good.
Okay, never mind. Move on because he's
It's
married.
good.
All right, move on.
And then, but that was my first boyfriend, and it was different in that I wasn't initially attracted to him. He actually was the polar opposite of anything that I was attracted to. He was kind of like a little bit more, not fuckboyish, but kind of his personality was a little bit more flirtatious, and he was like super Asian. Like he had his AIM name, I think, was like Asian Baby Boy or something like that.
Like every other
ABB.
Yeah, and I was from Orange County, and I met him in when I would visit like my cousins on the weekends in Roland Heights area. So we were just like very, very different, like in our backgrounds. And then his personality was also like he was a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't really like the kind of guy that was like confident but almost like cocky. Although I've learned now in hindsight that there's a lot about that though that I do find attractive, and I think actually works really well for me.
All right, confident cocky men out there.
But it was
don't be
definitely-
cocky.
But it was a relationship where like it took a lot of warming up, right? Like he pursued me for like a year or so, and
wow.
like he actually dated someone else because I was like, oh, I just want to be friends. It ended up it worked out pretty well, I guess, enough for us to date for like a couple of years.
Wait, how long were you guys together?
I think it might have been 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But we knew each other for like 4 or 5 years. So we had like a pretty solid friendship for a couple of years before it turned into dating. And then we split, and then near the end of my freshman year, this was like then my experience with a guy that was like kind of the complete opposite, which was like I just found him really attractive. And it was like a stupid girl over this. And all of my suite mates would attest, like I would like stalk him online. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute.
Wait, so how'd you meet him?
We had the same econ class. And then how did we meet?
How'd you start talking?
Econ class. Homework.
Econ class.
Dropped pencil.
I remember the first time we had any type of conversation was on the shuttle. And
that's
he,
cute.
I was with like my roommate, and I think she knew. I don't remember if she knew that I had a crush on this guy. Maybe not. I don't know.
She do one of those things where she like pushes you closer to him, like, oops.
Yeah.
Well, I think she might have like looked at me when he got on the shuttle, like, oh, or something. But he actually came up to me and he was like, oh, so how did you do on that exam or something like that?
Oh my
So I was
gosh.
like, oh, he talked to me. And then like later in hindsight when we talked, he's like, yeah, I was actually really nervous, and like I was trying to like make a connection with you.
Aww.
We started talking because it was during the time of Zanga, and he was really big into like digital photography and all this stuff, and so I don't remember how we started talking, but it was something through that. But it was also, we got to know each other near the end of the school year. So with summer vacation, a lot of the building of our relationship was through just like online, like journaling and stuff like that, or like messaging back and forth. And then when the school year started again, then we started dating.
Wow.
And
That's cute. That's like romantic. It's like writing love stories to each other via
Yeah.
internet.
But
It's
he was
just
definitely someone that, and he was like a year older, and he was really like artsy. So I guess that like the other guy, the first guy that I dated, like ended up being a lawyer. So he's like really kind of more practical, like traditional, like strong male figure, that kind of thing. And then the second guy was like, I was just really smitten by like I thought he was so cute, I thought he was so talented, and he's so artistic.
Where is he?
Yeah, where is he now? Janet.
I don't know, where is he?
At Asian Boss Girl, subject line, to Janet, my dear. Huh? Like if he were to write it into
Oh
her.
yeah.
But you guys know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I did. You know what's funny? No, I didn't at first when you telling the story. I was like, wait, is that?
Wait, is it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's someone we know.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
That's a cute story.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, when Janet was telling the story, it kind of reminds me of like watching like those teen movies. He gets on the bus and then we make eye contact
Yeah.
and he talks to me.
And
It's
then
like,
he like e-propped me through Zanga. It's a e-prop.
dang, I forgot all these things.
Yeah, no, I saw your
like,
look on your face. You're like,
I remember he brought me boba during a study break with my, that was a random story, but just like in terms of cute movie moments. But I think a lot of my roommates in college, like they were, what would you call it, like fangirling, not fangirling, but kind of like they thought that it was like really cute to kind of watch the relationship develop and all the little things that, yeah.
How long were you
you're
guys dating
explaining
for?
this very cutely.
Sorry, how long were you guys dating for?
Oh, 6 months.
Okay.
Oh,
But why,
that's
how'd you
it?
guys
6 to 8 months. We didn't know each other very well, and it was just like straight attraction and then just like, let's just start dating.
Yeah.
And then we kind of realized from like dating as we got to know each other that like we weren't the most compatible partners. Like maybe, I don't know, it's still kind of to this day kind of hard to explain, but maybe it just wasn't like, it felt like something was lacking or it wasn't quite working out. We went into a friendship and I still remember a little bit of rockiness because I think initially I was more strong on the like, let's break up, this is not, and he maybe was a little bit lingering, and then it flipped and then he was like, no, this is the right thing, and I was like, are you sure? Maybe we should try again. Like,
maybe you should try again.
so there were definitely a lot of kind of like cutesy rom-com moments in that relationship, and it was someone that maybe some of you might know.
Oh, we know.
Oh, we know. I think you all listening know as well, but we won't say who.
Asian Boss Girl is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creators, entrepreneurs, and curious people everywhere. You can take classes in marketing, such as Instagram best practices, where you learn how to grow your community and work with brands, or classes about how to get your podcast off the ground. So whether you're picking up a new skill for your day job, figuring out your next side project, or pursuing a longtime passion, Skillshare has classes for you.
As a small business focused on celebrating the accomplishments of fellow Asian American women, we're stoked to see our good friend Jeanette Liao on Skillshare. Jeanette is an amazing designer and illustrator who actually designed the logo for Asian Boss Girl and our mancha tea. A lot of our listeners expressed interest in typography, so we highly recommend her class.
Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for our listeners. Get 2 months free. That's right, Skillshare is offering Asian Boss Girl listeners 2 free months of unlimited access to thousands of classes. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/ABG. Again, go to Skillshare.com/ABG to start your 2-month free trial now. That's Skillshare.com/ABG.
All right, real quick. What were you guys involved in college? Like any organizations?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned already, like for me, it was the Chinese Students Association. I was in that through all 4 years, except for my 3rd year, actually, because I went to study abroad. Oh, studying abroad at the University of Melbourne was probably one of the best experiences in college. That was like college times like 10, just because like that is ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
My parents lived only 20 minutes away from Boston College, so it was like I had to come home and like drink soup and all that stuff still. So I was still pretty tied down to home, but like going there was dope.
How long were you in
Melbourne?
Yeah.
3, I think it was 3 months. It's Melbourne. It's like a
Melbourne.
bun. You eat the bun.
But
Yeah.
3 months.
I think it was 3
so
months.
like a quarter.
Like a
or-
semester. It was a
semester.
Oh, it might
Oh,
have been
that sounds so
4.
much fun.
It was super fun. But yeah, so CSA was like a big thing. Played volleyball during the summertime still for the NAC IVT tournament. Played in that for like 13 years. And then I was also an RA for 74 freshman girls.
Dang, that's a lot
in
of.
Zaga Hall.
So you're like a
lot of
therapist,
students.
pretty much.
Oh my gosh. It was a lot. It's pretty crazy to think that a junior is accountable for so many
Yeah.
people. Actually, to think back, because I would have these girls just like knock on my door at like 2 a.m. and they're like, emergency, or I need you, or crying over something. And I'm just like, I am not equipped for this.
Yeah.
I have school tomorrow too. Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
But I was able to only do it for like half a semester, because then the other half I went to study abroad. That was like most of the things that I was involved in. How about you ladies?
I only did one organization, and that was Taiwanese American Student Association. So, like, I think that's actually why I think me and Helen, we talked about, like, why Asian American, this community means so much to us, because we've been involved in it since, like, a very young age. But TASA for me was like my life. I gave so much money and so much hours to it.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing I did. Yeah, so I think for me, mostly it was just TASA. How about you, Janet?
So I think I've talked about, I was in the Ascension dance team, which was like the college related one. And then I also was on a community dance team, 220 hip hop.
Which is really good, by the way.
I was only on there for 1 year. But yeah, dance aside, I was also really involved in student government. So UCSD, unlike the other UCs, it's kind of the format. We had like separate colleges and then also one university-wide student government. So I was a freshman senator for Revelle, and then would have the Revelle College meetings. And then we'd also have as a senator, you then represent Revelle College against all of the other colleges for the student-wide government meetings. So that was actually a huge time commitment. It meant 2 nights a week I was like in meetings for like 2 to 4 hours, and it involved like planning events, but then also like having to be studied upon or like read through all the emails where people were like proposing different I forgot the terminologies for it, but like when they want to pass different things and you have bills or stuff like that. So it was a really great experience, but it was definitely like very time consuming.
Yeah, sounds draining.
And then I also did a lot of like college related smaller organizations. There was one called I Heart Revelle. We made t-shirts and sold them, and I don't remember why exactly.
Where'd the money go?
But I think that was specific to Revelle College. It was also on the like newsletter or the newspaper for Revelle College.
Oh. And there's a trend with you. You like to do a lot of different little things.
Yeah, I have a lot of
like to dip
interest
your toe.
Yes, I dip a little bit into everything.
Your toe is very wet. You have a wet toe.
What the fuck, Alex?
She's dipping her toe.
It's a little late, and we're
it's like midnight now. Okay. Besides orgs, like I think one thing we had to do in college was like be involved in internships. Like, do you guys remember your internships?
Oh man, I think the first one I did was for like an advertising agency, and I was like an office manager, so I'd order all the snacks, answer phone calls, redirect phone calls. That was fun. The internship that I had junior year, which is like one of the more important internships because that's like right before actual work, right after senior year, was I had an opportunity to either do a paid marketing job or an unpaid finance job. And at this time, I was a double major in both finance and marketing. The finance job was an iBanking job at Bulger Capital. It's like a small boutique investment firm. And I went with the one that was unpaid, which is kind of crazy because if you're like a junior in college, of course you're gonna like pick the paid job, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason I knew that the iBanking job would give me the experience that I really wanted to like challenge myself. So I took that one, and luckily they gave me like a stipend or whatever at the end as a thank you. It's like a pretty sizable one. So I was like, yes, good choice. But that actually set up the skills that my current job now saw, and they were like, oh, she's already done a lot of this like valuation stuff with this iBanking job. And I think that's actually what got me the job that I have now at one of the big 4 companies. So it's kind of crazy, like these decisions looking back on.
When you look back, you can connect the dots.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, it's very similar to my experience. I felt like I was a late bloomer because like coming in as a junior, like people have been having internships freshman, sophomore year already. I was like, shit, I got to catch up. And when I got there, I was like, I didn't realize internships were a thing. And so I remember I was on the job portal. I was like, oh my God, what do I need to do? I think I've always been interested in entertainment or like media and stuff. And so I saw an opening for a marketing position at the San Diego Asian Film Festival. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. Movies. I had no idea what the fuck it was. Took it, and I fell in love. One of my first assignments was to watch Asian American film and then talk about it and write about it and then follow these other Asian American articles. I didn't know this existed. It's like there's a medium for this. And so I was a marketing intern my first year where I would just kind of like link movies to schools and the clubs and have them sponsor some movies. After each internship, you should move on to the next one, right? So I was like, okay, I'm done with this one. I got to do something else. I thought I wanted to be in public relations after college because I was a PR officer for TASA. I did this public affairs, public relations internship in the city, and I fucking hated it. It was just so boring. I didn't care what I was doing. I remember I was like, I hate this so much. This is such an opposite feeling for what I got for my first internship. I actually asked my previous internship, I was like, can you please take me back? I want to go back. And the thing is, the first internship was unpaid. Like the film festival was unpaid. It's media. They're like, yes, you could come back, but you have to do something else besides marketing. They're like, okay. I was like, can I be in programming? So I joined my last year, senior programming internship. So I did programming and marketing. And in programming, what you did was you screen all the videos that come in that want to be part of the festival, and you give a ranking, and you actually accept films or not. And so I would be in relationships with the directors and the filmmakers and coordinating them on site and being a part of it. It's really crazy because my first year as a marketing intern, I met my boss from Jubilee Media my first year. And then my second year, I met Wong Fu. And that literally set the whole, what I'm doing today, how I know the people is because of that internship and me falling in love with Asian American media.
Connecting the dots.
I know, right?
Wow.
And I think all this stuff is just like, it's just crazy how it really does matter. And so those are my internships in college. How about you, Janet?
I mean, I guess very similar to you ladies, like whatever you did as an internship, it kind of led into the kind of first jobs that you went into or that you got. There's three that I remember from college. And two of them were actually more like finance or analyst type related. So the first was at Northwestern Mutual, and it was like life insurance stuff. So I had selected because I thought, oh, like econ major, like it would be the business type thing, right? But it ended up being kind of like more sales oriented, which was kind of strange, but still an interesting experience, and it helped me realize that that's not what I wanted to do. And then I did another internship with it was HSBC Credit Card Services, and my aunt and my uncle worked there. And I still remember I was kind of reluctant to kind of apply. My dad's like, no, this is like it'll set you up for good for like jobs to come. So I ended up doing that. I should have known kind of then, it's like the work wasn't very exciting to me because it was like an analyst type role. So you were learning to use like Excel and build models and things like that. But eventually I think that because I did that, that gave me good setting to go into my first job at Deloitte, which I ultimately left, but still learned a good amount from. And then during school, I did another internship, I think, at the San Diego Chamber of Commerce. It was once again like knowing that internships set you up to have like when you go and interview for jobs that you have something that you can say that you've done, right?
I kind of feel like I learned a lot more in internships than I did in my actual classes sometimes.
Oh yeah, because it's real life experience, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I remember like junior year, there's so much pressure around like, oh, what internship did you get? Like, oh, what are you doing now? You know, which whoever's in college right now listening to this, like, we feel for you. That was a really stressful time of my life.
It is. And I think one thing, like, you're hearing us say, like, oh, everything connects, which is true to some degree, but, like, don't put pressure on that just because you're like, oh, my God, this internship is so important because it will literally lead me to my life job. That's not the case. It will eventually lead you to a path. If you decide it's not the right fit, it's okay.
Yeah.
And you never know. You could actually end up doing something. If you don't get the dream internship that you wanted to, you could end up doing something that could actually be something you, like, really actually deep down do love and not what you're supposed to love.
Yeah.
You know? And that could lead into something much more fulfilling and beautiful for you.
I could actually say that's what happened with me with SIDAF, the film festival. I wasn't looking for a film job. It's like, this sounds like something I would be interested in, and then I fell into it.
Like, I think to the point of taking advantage of the time when you are in school to be able to, like, because an internship is a great opportunity to explore stuff before you have to like get a more serious adult job.
Yeah, if we're giving advice, right, to anyone that is in college or potentially going to college, I don't know if we have such young listeners, but you know, I think it is like keep an open mind. Something I think about in college. I know like when we were in our early 20s, we're like, oh, we're like adults now, you know, like we can't be kids anymore. And something I think about all the time is just like college kids are kids. Like you're still so young and there's so much like freedom that you have to explore yourself. You're just getting to learn about yourself, right? Like high school, you kind of just have to like float around, and college is finally the time where you can get to know yourself and get to know what you love and what you're interested in and try a dancing class. I think in college you're also feeling very aware that eyes are on you, but then thinking back now, like I can't remember anyone else's embarrassing moments or even my own, right? So it's like put yourself out there. If I were to go back and probably tell myself that, put yourself out there and just do fun things.
I think I would agree. Like, it's funny because like the next question is, what advice would you give your college self? I think I'm gonna keep it really sweet and simple. Just honestly, like, enjoy it. I think college is a time that you can never recreate, and it was so precious to me. Like, the memories from college I still remember to this day. Don't put too much pressure on it. Just live it up.
I would probably say the same for myself, that I worried so much, especially that last year of school before, you know, graduating, that it's like, what am I going to do? And always had a tendency to kind of like maybe over involve in things versus kind of really being able to just embrace the moment and kind of just enjoy it instead of always worrying about the future.
All right, guys, this ends the first episode for season 5. We hope you guys enjoyed, listening and taking a time travel to our college self. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, you can follow us on social. We're at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Asian Boss Girl.
This episode's actually coming out on the day that we are visiting Boston College.
Your alma mater.
Yeah. Wow. If you are in Boston, I'm sure we're going to do a little meetup too. So would love to see y'all there. It's probably going to be happening right now.
At this very moment.
Check out Instagram.
We're also on iTunes, Spotify, all of the podcasting platforms. So look us up, ABG, Asian Boss Girl, and leave us a review. We'd love to know your thoughts on our episodes.
Also, 2 other things. We have merchandise on our website, asianbossgirl.com/shop. And we also have a voicemail system, so you can leave us a message. We'll have segments during episodes where we can play your voice recording if you don't want to keep it private. And we'll respond back to you. And that phone number is 213-262-8776. And with that, thank you so much for joining us on the first episode of season 5. We're super excited to have you back. We're super excited to be back. And we will catch you on the next episode.
Bye.